In 2000, construction was underway on the Beverley uranium mine in South Australia. Agreements had been made with the traditional owners who were to have free access to the site with no more than common sense restrictions. In May 2000, a protest camp was established outside the main gate of the mine. The protest included traditional owners, but also protesters opposed to the mining of uranium. The protest began peacefully, but there were incursions onto the mine site by some protesters, and it eventually degenerated to the point where there were rocks thrown at police and police vehicles. On the 9th of May 2000, things came to a head. Police had deployed the South Australian Star Force, basically heavily armed riot police, together with many uniformed officers. When some protesters went onto the mine site, the police essentially attacked. Many of the uniformed police who were not part of Star Force started using their batons and pepper spray on protesters. Many protesters and one unfortunate Channel 7 reporter were then held in a shipping container or in police vehicles for hours, often without food or water, before being released. They sued for both assault and false imprisonment. The court found first that they had not been trespassing. The traditional owners and their invitees were there by right. And besides, the protesters began to leave when this was demanded by the Star Force paramilitaries. On that basis, the use of force and threatened use of force by police was assault. Justice Anderson said the uniformed officers sent to assist the Star Force were really left to use their own discretion, which unfortunately was misplaced in relation to their over-enthusiastic use of capsicum spray and arrest procedures generally. He also found that the protesters had been falsely imprisoned. He stated the law that it must be proved that by the voluntary conduct of the defendant, the plaintiff was totally deprived of freedom of movement without lawful justification. The restraint will still be total if the plaintiff's only alternative means of movement or escape is unreasonable. He then observed, the use of the shipping container as a means of housing the protesters who had been arrested or detained was, in my opinion, quite unnecessary and quite inappropriate. It represents, in my view, a fundamental breach of human rights. The plaintiff protesters were each awarded damages ranging from $18,000 to just over $95,000.